Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Now what the hell going on here, America? Could it really be more land? Ooh wee!
If you didn't take the 5 seconds necessary to read the wording on that clip, please go back and do so because that was dumb. And here's why. It was a little too easy to take that one thing and turn it into something completely different because it was a smokescreen, right? To hide ships. And they turned it into an ice wall to hide Terra Infinita. Way different things.
Did you know that all U.S. presidents are related, except for one? Back in the early 2000s, a little 7th grade girl did a genealogy report on all the U.S. presidents. What she found stunned the world. It made major headline news, yet still people want to be asleep to the truth. It's not a conspiracy that all presidents are selected, not elected. What do you expect when you live under an oligarchy rule where keeping everyone divided and fighting amongst themselves will keep them from truly being free and not have to fight with their neighbor anymore? Every single one of the presidents, except for Martin Van Buren, can trace their lineage to John Plantagenet of England. And if you don't know who he is, he was the signer of the Magna Carta, which limited the power of the Templars, where we get the Freemasons from. It isn't just an oligarchy rule. It is a rule by the illegitimate bloodline of John Plantagenet. So yes, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Obama, Bush, Reagan, Clinton, they're all related. Even yes, now, the two people running against each other for the presidency, Kamala Harris, Trump, can both trace their lineage to King John Plantagenet of England.
Now, I personally have not researched this information, but that is my friend Mr. E, and I tend to believe the stuff that he says because dude does research until he's blue in the face. That was terrible. But he does research very, very thoroughly, and I trust what he says. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. He's on Rumble. If you want to go check out his stuff, it's fantastic.
The dirty little secret is that many of those algorithms have been so trained that the AI itself now spots American flags that are on someone's profile. So if you're somebody who has an American flag in your social media profile, the algorithms are already trained to pay greater scrutiny to what you say.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking about this. And it's not a human being that made that judgment. It's the AI that itself has been trained to say that these are the kinds of people who need to actually be silenced and suppressed.
I just got this clip last night from my sister-in-law, Terry. I love you, Terry. And I just had to share it with you. It is freaking fantastic. And I believe it. It's sad, but I believe it. These days, waving an American flag is like triggering to the left. And especially with the way that Zuckerberg just came out and saying that he was one-sided, basically, when it came to censorship in Facebook and all of that crap, right? So, yeah, I'm going to believe that.
Human alien
the ancient
hybrids in the
narrative
Bible.
of human ET hybridization is probably best known from the story of the Bible. It is told in Genesis 6, when the Bene Elohim, ones like the powerful ones, come down to planet Earth to abduct human females. Their interbreeding produces a lineage called the Nephilim, the giants of legend. The author of Genesis 6 in the Hebrew canon and the author of the letter of Jude in the New Testament both assume that their readers are familiar with another famous text, the Book of Enoch, a text to be found today in the Ethiopian Orthodox canon of the Bible. The book describes the abductions referenced in Genesis 6 in even greater detail. It names those doing the abducting as watchers, and describes how they had transgressed fundamental ethics governing relationships with the human race, arriving from somewhere among the stars to begin their program of producing hybrid offspring. Josephus, the Jewish historian of the first century of the Common Era, appeals to this scriptural episode to explain the presence of giants in his own day, as well as through the annals of history. Josephus understood the Jewish tradition to be only one iteration of this legend of human hybridization with advanced beings. Specifically, Josephus identifies the ancient Greek legends as vehicles of the same memory. The Greek name for these hybrids was Titans.
There's a lot of different beliefs behind these Titans. Some believe that they are the fallen, just like Lockwood Thexton. Thank you for bringing up this topic. It's actually really awesome to have another point of view on basically the Anunnaki, I think, right? I personally am still of the belief that they were aliens, because that's my jam. And then there's our friend Sam Fisher, who actually thinks that they were human. And he actually goes into a lot of research to find out this stuff. So he's probably more right than me. Hey, thanks for stopping by today. That's all. I'm just glad you're here.
I really don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this is hard to ignore. All right, so Syllabus X hosted a conference about coronavirus, and they had a group discount, an early registration discount, if you registered by February 28th, 2020. When did COVID happen? And now Syllabus X has the Bird Flu Summit, which they're hosting in October 2024 with early registration deals if you register before June 28th, a couple weeks ago. And I would like to conclude that this is just about livestock and managing the bird flu within animals until you get to the details about this conference, talking about mass fatality management and morgue operations. I mean, look into it for yourself and you come to your own conclusions, but it's not looking good.
So really quick, I want to correct him. He said February 28th, 2020 is when COVID started, but it's called COVID-19 because it was discovered in 2019. And it was at the end of 2019 when things got all crazy. Well, it didn't get all crazy. When things started happening. Things got crazy in like the beginning of March because we shut down, like the 20th or something like that. And that's when that happened. So after that, what that is called is it's a table exercise. And so what they're doing is they know that something is happening. So they sit around and they plan for what to do in the event that certain things happen. Obviously, they didn't plan for it to be like it was going to be. And now all of the stuff that is going to happen with this bird flu table exercise is supposed to kind of catch up on the things that they missed out on last time and everything got all screwed up just in case it does turn into this. I think they do this pretty regularly. What I think is very interesting is the timing. So yes, the one that was before COVID turned into a disaster was right before that. And now this one is right before Election Day. It's about a month before. So that's interesting, right?
And then, of course, you also have the things that are a little bit more traditional. If we talk about things that can be operable in the biochemical space, we ordinarily talk about drugs, bugs, toxins, and ever more, we're considering devices. I can disrupt an individual from the level of their cell to their system and disrupt individuals on a variety of levels, from individuals all the way up to the social fabric. Target a specific individual, change or eliminate that individual with very little attribution and trace, and be able to leave prior to any attribution. Drugs can be exceedingly specific, and as I'll show you in a moment, can be very, very much used to individualize weaponology in terms of what we call precision pathology or precision effect. And by affecting the way that brain is built and the way it functions, influence in ways that are kinetic and non-kinetic. The attitudes, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, activities. Look at the power that understanding tools and techniques of the brain sciences afford.
The deeper we go into this particular clip, the scarier it gets. I was going to save the rest of it for another time, but I'm just going to play the rest of it for you now because it is super interesting and I think you're going to dig it.
We also see the use of biodata as a viable weapon, manipulating biodata so that I can then put into your particular medical records subtle information that may change the disposition of whether you're sick or not, change how you're treated, influence the postures that go to you in terms of insurance, care, viability for military service. By altering that information, by changing those data, by purloining those data, I essentially change the you of you. And I can do that in very subtle and insidious ways. Furthermore, I can do that on a variety of different levels that can affect key individuals so that in fact your medical record changes to thereby render you incapable or at least invalid to be able to serve in a way you're serving. Or I can do that on a much larger scale, groups, populations. And if I change those data, I change the way you're being regarded and treated. And I can do that in one of two ways. I can do it in such a way that you're going to be regarded in a negative sense, or I can do that in such a way that I'm going to treat you incorrectly. If I say, for example, you have a particular allergy or you have a particular disorder, you will be treated for that, and that could then harm your health and your stability in both a short wars approach as well as a long wars approach. One of the newest developments is that nanoparticulate matter can be stabilized for distribution. If you're not aware what nanoparticulate matter is, it's that matter which exists on a scale of 1 × 10⁹ very, very small, smaller than a cell. And we can manufacture materials that have discrete properties that can be controlled by virtue of bioengineering and their physical chemistry. I can create small robotic units, controllable robotic units at the nanoscale, and that these too can be aerosolized to create a nanoswarm of biopenetrable materials that you cannot see, that can penetrate all but the most robust biochemical filters, that are able to integrate themselves through a variety of membranes, mucous membranes, and wherever, mouth, nose, ears, eyes, can be then uptaken into the vascular system to create clumping, can affect the vascular system of the brain, or can directly diffuse into the brain space, and these can be weaponized. And they can be done in such a level that their presence is almost impossible to detect, and as such, the attribution becomes exceedingly difficult to demonstrate. We've come to the precarious position of opening the proverbial can of worms of if, how, in what ways, to what extent, and when these techniques and technologies will be used in weaponized intelligence and national security agenda. Are civilian ethics even viable any longer? And if we engage military ethics, what military ethical principles will we engage?
I'm so glad you stuck around for that, because that was just intriguing. I don't even have anything to say about that other than damn. That is scary and freaking cool at the same time. Okay, I have a lot more to say than damn. That's freaking insane. The stuff that he's talking about as though it is something that is happening right now, right? Now, is it actually happening right now, or was he saying it in that manner just to be, dramatic, right? And then a lot of people, the first thing I'm going to think is chemtrails, right? But that is just absolutely wow. Just wow. Damn.
A lie right in our faces, saying that this was being built in 1903, when we have multiple dates of 1803, time-stamped right on the building. Multiple times. Not only that, but you can see that the mud flood damaged the bottom of this building here. The mud came after the construction, not before. And I want to make that point very clear. This is a cleanup project, 100%. After this World's Fair, they knocked these buildings down. Not because they were pathetic, but because they held dates that do not fit in our mainstream timeline and architecture that we cannot reproduce today. It's incredible. I've been talking to many people, engineers, construction workers, architects, and more about this photo. They are telling me that this is undeniable proof. And at this point, there isn't an excuse in the book that could save the mainstream history. It's time for everyone to...
Right. Okay, I've had enough. Look, it's all very nice you're saying that they're that old, right? But look at that. Yeah, what do you see there? They're a bit uniform, aren't they? Is that not goddamn nails? It's plasterboard, mate. At best. Probably wood more than anything else. Nailed on. Carved. It's not what you think, mate. It really isn't. It really isn't. It's not stone. They're really, really new. Probably they were built that week. And best of all, right? What's that? Got on scaffolding.
That was some kind of inception right there, wasn't it? So I am reacting to a video which I found on our friend Sam Fisher's TikTok page, who is reacting to Modtricka, who is watching My Lunch Break. Check all those guys out, by the way. My Lunch Break is fantastic. I love his stuff. And then Modtricka is great, of course. And then our friend Sam Fisher, who I absolutely adore, but I hate at the same time because he has this crazy way of taking something that I believe and making it wrong. He does a lot of great research and he looks at a lot of historical stuff. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things. It's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.